There was a glass jar of old pennies sitting on a kitchen counter in Lancaster County this past winter. The daughter was cleaning out her mother's house after the funeral. She had already called the estate sale company. That jar had been on the counter for 40 years. She dumped it into a CoinStar machine at the grocery store and walked out with $11.43. One of those pennies was a 1943 copper cent. A coin exactly like it sold at Heritage Auctions for $329,000. My name is Isaac Hostler. I have lived without electricity my whole life, raised hogs, kept laying hens, and learned early that the things that look like nothing are often the things that matter most. Today we are going through 10 old coins sitting in junk drawers and change jars right now, worth far more than anyone ever told you. I will show you what to look for on every single one. Before we start, drop a comment and tell me where you are watching from. Tennessee, Texas, Alberta, it does not matter. I read everyone. And stay with me to number 4 because that coin has the simplest test of anything on this list, and I want to walk you through it personally. Let me be straight before we count. Most old coins are worth face value. Dump your change jar on the table and 9 out of 10 are clad copper nickel, minted after 1965, worth exactly what they say on the front. That is the honest math. But the 10th one is why this video exists. The people who buy estate coin collections for nothing are counting on you not knowing the names. They are not guessing, they know. You're about to know too. Before 1965, the United States Mint struck dimes, quarters, and half dollars in real silver, 90% silver, 10% copper. When silver prices rose high enough that the coins were worth more as metal than as money, Congress switched quietly to copper nickel clad. No announcement. The old coins stayed in circulation. Most got spent. Some got set aside in jars. The people who saved them did not always know why. They just knew old money felt different. That feeling was right. Number 10. Pre-1965 silver coins. What people call junk silver. A retired school teacher in Tennessee brought 2-gallon jars of old coins to a bank in Nashville to be rolled. The teller ran them through the counting machine. She walked out with $47. Those 2 jars held over 60 pre-1965 quarters. At today's silver price, the silver content alone was worth more than $200. She never knew there was a difference between an old quarter and a new one. Here is your checklist. 1. The date. Any dime, quarter, or half dollar dated 1964 or earlier is 90% silver. No exceptions on dimes and quarters. Kennedy half dollars from 1965 through 1970 are 40% silver, still worth keeping. 2. The edge. Look at the rim of the coin. A silver coin has a solid gray edge all the way through. A modern clad coin shows a thin copper stripe in the middle like a sandwich. 3. The formula. Face value times 0.715 times today's silver spot price equals your melt value in dollars. A single pre-1965 quarter is worth around $6 right now. A half dollar around $12. A roll of 40 pre-1965 quarters holds over $200 in silver. Most families have some of these, they just do not know to look. Number 9. The 1877 Indian head penny. A coin dealer in Georgia bought a tobacco tin of old pennies from a man clearing out his father's workshop in Savannah for $35 flat. The man shook hands and left satisfied. The 1877 Indian head penny in that tin was worth $740 in the condition it was in. The dealer knew. The seller never looked at the dates. The 1877 is the rarest date in the entire Indian head series. The Philadelphia Mint struck only 852,000 that year, the lowest of any regular issue Indian head penny, because the economy had collapsed and almost nobody needed small change. Almost none were saved. A heavily worn example with a barely readable date is still worth over $500. Here is your checklist. 1. The design. Indian head pennies show Lady Liberty wearing a Native American feathered headdress. If your old penny looks like that, check the date on the front below the portrait. If it reads 1877, you have something. 2. The headband. Across the front of the headdress, the word Liberty is written. The more letters you can read, the higher the value. A coin where you can read the full word clearly is worth roughly double a heavily worn one. 3. No mint mark. The 1877 was struck only in Philadelphia. The reverse will be clean with no letter. Any letter on the reverse means a different date. A worn 1877 brings $500 to $600. Fine condition runs $1,200 to $2,000. The auction record is $149,500. Number 8. The 1937 D three-legged buffalo nickel. A coin dealer in Minnesota found a 1937 D three-legged buffalo in fine condition inside a coffee can of old nickels a family had left in a farmhouse closet in Duluth. The son had gone through the can first and taken the ones he thought were interesting. He left the buffalo nickels behind because they were just old nickels. The dealer sold that one coin at auction for $2,200. In 1937, a press at the Denver Mint jammed, the dies clashed, and an overzealous attempt to save them ground away the front right leg of the buffalo on the reverse. Every coin struck from that damaged die shows a buffalo on 3 legs. The die was pulled, but an estimated 20,000 may have been struck first. Most circulated for decades before anyone knew what to look for. Here is your checklist. 1. Date and mint mark first. The front must read 1937 and the back must show a D below 5 cents. Without both, it does not matter how many legs the buffalo has. 2. Count the front legs. The front right leg, on the left as you look at the coin, should be absent or mostly gone. The hoof area will look smoothed, not cut. 3. The belly test. On a genuine three-legged example, the belly of the buffalo looks smoother than a normal 1937 D because the same die polishing removed detail there too. A coin where someone filed the leg off a normal nickel will show sharp, unnatural surfaces. If the motto E pluribus unum on the reverse touches the back of the buffalo, it is a fake. Circulated examples run $500 to $2,000. High grades reach tens of thousands. The auction record exceeds $84,000. Number 7. The 1932 D Washington quarter. A postal worker in Alabama found 2-gallon jars of old quarters clearing out his parents' house in Mobile. His father had been a route driver who set aside change for decades. He took both jars to the coin counting machine at the grocery store. The machine paid him $347. A dealer who heard the story later estimated those jars held over $1,200 in silver melt value alone at 2026 prices, not counting any key dates. He never checked a single date. Washington quarters began in 1932 to mark 200 years since Washington's birth. The Denver Mint produced only 436,800 that year. PCGS estimates just 44,000 survive today in any condition. Here is your checklist. 1. Check the edge first on any old quarter. A solid silver-colored edge with no copper stripe means pre-1965 silver. Set it aside and check the date. 2. Look for 1932 on the front. Only a 1932 quarter matters here. 3. On the reverse below the eagle and above the word quarter, look for a small D. That means Denver. A 1932 with no letter is Philadelphia. Common, still silver, but not the key date. A worn 1932-D brings $160 to $200. Very fine examples run $500. High grades reach tens of thousands. The auction record is $143,750. Number 6. The 1909-SVDB Lincoln Penny. A man in Texas brought a paper cup of old wheat pennies from his grandfather's dresser drawer in Amarillo to a coin dealer out of curiosity. The dealer spread them out and found a 1909-SVDB in fine condition, worth $950 that day. The man had nearly thrown the cup in the trash because they were just old pennies. In 1909, the Mint introduced the Lincoln cent. The designer, Victor David Brenner, placed his initials VDB at the bottom of the reverse. The public objected. The Mint pulled the initials after only 484,000 had been struck at San Francisco. Those are the 1909-SVDB cents. People pulled them from circulation when the story spread. But 484,000 is a small number across 117 years. Here is your checklist. 1. The date must read 1909 on the front below Lincoln's portrait. 2. On the reverse at the very bottom center between the two wheat stalks, Look for the letters VDB in small type. If you see those initials on a 1909 penny, go to step 3. 3. Below the date on the front, look for a small s. That means San Francisco. A 1909 VDB from Philadelphia with no letter is worth $10 to $30. The 1909-S VDB is a different coin entirely. Circulated examples start at $860. Fine condition runs $1,200 to $1,300. The auction record is $168,000. Quick stop. If you are getting something out of this, hit subscribe. I put out a new one every week pulled from real research on what is sitting in American homes right now. The coin at number 3 may be closer to you than you think. Let us keep going. Number 5. The 1955 double-die Lincoln penny. In 2023, a woman in North Carolina brought a coffee can of wheat pennies to a coin show in Charlotte. A dealer offered her $45 for the can D, a fair price. She was about to accept when a dealer at the next table noticed something in the open can. He asked to look at one coin. It was a 1955 double die in very fine condition. He bought that single coin for $1,800. She took $45 for the rest. In late 1955, the Philadelphia Mint was running presses at high speed. One press had a misaligned die. Every coin struck from it came out with clear doubling of the entire front design. The date 1955 appears doubled and offset. The words "Liberty and in God We Trust" show split, shadowed letters. Between 20,000 and 40,000 are estimated to have been struck before the error was caught. Here's your checklist. 1. Look at the date 1955. On a genuine double die, you can see two sets of numbers without any magnifier. The second impression is shifted and clearly separate, not a blur from wear, but a hard second set of digits. 2. Look at Liberty and In God We Trust. Both will show the same clear doubling, wide, split letters with a distinct shadow between impressions. 3. Do not confuse this with what collectors call the poor man's double die. That is a flat, shelf-like blur from machine vibration and is worth nothing. Genuine double die shows bold, raised, separated impressions on a coin that reads 1955 with no other mint mark. Circulated examples run $1,000 to $2,500. The auction record is $287,156. Number 4. The 1916 D Mercury dime. A man in Missouri sorted through his grandfather's silver coin collection after a funeral in Kansas City and brought it all to a dealer for bulk silver, $180. The dealer noticed one dime in the Mercury group. He asked to set it aside. It was a 1916-D in about good condition, the date barely readable. He bought that single dime for $900. The rest of the Mercury dimes sold for $40 in silver. In 1916, Denver was late starting Mercury dime production. They did not begin until late December, days before year-end. The result was only 264,000 dimes, with the D mint mark for 1916. The lowest mintage of any regular issue Mercury dime in the entire series. Most circulated immediately. Even a heavily worn example is worth serious money. Here is your checklist. 1. The design. Mercury dimes show a young Liberty with wings on her cap on the front and a bundle of rods called fasces on the back. If your old dime looks like this and is dated 1916, go to step 2. 2. On the reverse near the bottom, look for a small D. That means Denver. A 1916 with no letter is Philadelphia, worth $8 to $12 in average circulated condition. The 1916-D is a completely different coin. 3. Authentication warning. This is one of the most counterfeited dimes in American history. Fakers add a D to common 1916 Philadelphia dimes. Any coin suspected to be a 1916 D should go to PCGS or NGC for certification before any money changes hands. The D on a genuine example has a specific size and die position that specialists can verify. Heavily worn examples bring $500 to $800. Average circulated condition starts around $1,800. The auction record is $300,000. Number 3. The 1893 S. Morgan Silver Dollar. A farmer in Nebraska found 11 old silver dollars in a cloth bag under old floorboards outside of Lincoln and took them to a pawn shop. He walked out with $25 each, $275 for the lot. A collector who later saw the batch identified 8 common date Morgans, one Carson City dollar worth $400 in that grade, and 2 others worth modest premiums. None were the 1893-S. But the story is the same everywhere. Old Morgan dollars leave family hands for silver weight when they sometimes carry collector value 10 times higher. San Francisco struck only 100,000 Morgan dollars in 1893, the lowest mintage of any business strike Morgan ever made. It was the year of the worst economic depression America had seen. Most of those coins circulated hard for decades. Finding one today in any condition is significant money. Here's your checklist. 1. The design. Morgan dollars show Lady Liberty on the front and a bald eagle on the back. Dollar appears at the bottom of the reverse. 2. Date and mint mark. The mint mark, if present, is on the reverse below the eagle, above the word dollar. You want an S next to the date 1893. 3. Any coin you believe is a 1893S must go to PCGS or NGC before anything happens with it. Added S mint marks on 1893. Philadelphia dollars are a common fake. Do not sell it raw. Do not sell it at a yard sale. Certification first. A worn circulated 1893S starts at $4,000. Fine condition brings $6,000 to $10,000. Uncirculated examples exceed $100,000. The auction record is over $2 million. Number 2. The 1943 copper penny. During World War II, copper was needed for ammunition. The mint switched to zinc-coated steel for all 1943 pennies, but copper planchets left over from 1942 were still in the hoppers. A small number, fewer than 20 confirmed total, were struck on those copper planchets by mistake. They look like any other old cent. The difference cannot be seen. It has to be tested. In 1947, a 16-year-old in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania found one in his change and took it to a dealer who confirmed it was genuine. That coin, pulled from ordinary pocket change, was worth more than an average house by the time it reached a major auction. At least one authenticated find came from common circulation. The person who found it did not know what it was until they looked. Here's your checklist. 1. The magnet test. Hold a magnet near your 1943 penny. A steel cent sticks immediately and firmly. Genuine copper does not respond at all. If your 1943 penny does not stick, proceed to step 2. 2. The weight. A genuine 1943 copper penny weighs 3.11 grams. A steel penny weighs 2.70 grams. Any kitchen or postal scale accurate to 1/10 of a gram tells you which you have. 3. The date shape. Because some fakers shave a 1948 penny to make the 8 look like a 3, examine that number closely. On a genuine 1943 cent, the 3 has 2 clean open loops of equal size. A shaved 8 will show an irregularity on the right side. A 1943 penny that does not stick to a magnet and weighs 3.1 grams must go to PCGS or NGC before anything else happens. Do not sell it. Do not show it around. Get it certified at PCGS.com. Authenticated circulated examples have sold for $100,000 to $329,000. Number 1. The 1943 D copper penny from Denver. There is exactly one confirmed 1943 copper penny from the Denver Mint. 1. Every other Denver cent struck in 1943 is steel. That single bronze planchet was believed to have been hand-fed into the press by a Denver Mint employee who kept it for years. After his death, his family brought it forward. Graded MS-64 brown by PCGS, it sold for $840,000 in 2021. The same coin sold for $1,700,000 in 2010. I am not telling you this because it is likely. I am telling you because the Philadelphia examples, 10 to 15 of which exist, have passed through unknown hands many times. At least one confirmed find came from ordinary circulation. The person who found it did not know what it was until they tested it. Here is your checklist, the same 3 steps as number 2. 1. The 1943 penny must not stick to a magnet. 2. It must weigh approximately 3.11 grams. 3. If it passes both tests, it goes directly to PCGS or NGC at pcgs.com before anything else happens. For a Denver coin, also confirm the small d below the date on the front. One coin on this earth carries all three of those facts together. The magnet test takes 3 seconds. Here is the part that stays with me. Nobody teaches you these names. Your grandmother set aside those old coins because they felt right to her. She did not know to write down what she was saving. And when the estate gets cleaned out, someone calls CoinStar, or the pawn shop, or the fellow who shows up and offers cash for the whole house by the pound. That fellow is not guessing. He knows the magnet test. He knows what PCGS means. He knows that a 1916 D dime in an old dime collection is worth $900 and that the family selling it has no idea. He is counting on exactly that. Not maliciously, it is simply an information gap, and information only stays valuable while it is uneven. This video evens it up. 10 coins. And the test for the most valuable ones on this list takes less time than a trip to the grocery store coin machine. Tonight, pull out the junk drawer, find the old change jar, go through the coin collection your father left in the cigar box. Look at every penny dated between 1909 and 1958. Look at every dime, quarter, and half dollar dated 1964 and earlier. Run a magnet over every 1943 penny you find. If something looks right, do not sell it. Do not clean it. Take it to pcgs.com and get it certified first. Read more at coinweek.com before any decision gets made. Then come tell me in the comments what you found. I read every single one, and in the next video we are going into old cameras. There are lenses sitting in closets right now worth more than the car in the driveway, and most people do not know a single name to look for. I will see you there.